Okay, we're gonna try this again. I don't know. I always have to try my lives twice. I don't know why they don't stand up. Okay, so I couldn't let today go by without jumping on here. Today is my 4-year cancerversary, which means 4 years ago today, I sat in my nurse navigator's office over at Sparrow Hospital, and she shared with me that yes, indeed, I do have breast cancer. And at the time, that's all she knew. Turned out it was stage 3 triple negative breast cancer. But at the time, I didn't know that for 1 week. It was just 1 week, 7 little days, but waiting. I found the waiting was the most difficult part. Waiting for the diagnosis, waiting to figure out like what exactly I had, what was my treatment plan. So yeah, and I think of that so often. We think about worst case scenario, and we cause ourselves so much pain without even knowing what's going to happen. So this isn't what I was going to talk about, but suddenly my brain now is going off on a whole different tangent about pre-traumatic stress and how we cause ourselves so much stress and worry before anything actually happens. So, for example, I always tell people, go ahead, take your brain. Your brain's going to want to go to worst case scenario anyway. So jump on that. Take your brain to worst case scenario. And as you go along, then you ask yourself questions and you say, okay, so then what? If this happens, so then what? So once you go through, and I take my coaching clients there too, let's go to worst case scenario. And if you let yourself go there, and along the way you answer those questions like, so then what? So if that happens, well, then what would happen? And you realize that the worst thing that could possibly happen to you is feeling an emotion. And if you have answers to those, and so then what? And you make peace with what could be the worst case scenario, you won't feel that worry. And in a couple days, when your mind starts reeling out of control again, and you can tell yourself, okay, brain, I see you wanting to go to worst case scenario again. We already went there once, so we don't need to think about it anymore. And the other part of that is go to worst case scenario, and I want you to make sure to spend equal time considering the best case scenario as well. And that wasn't even what I was going to talk to you about, but sometimes I just, kind of get off on that and on a different tangent. And I just think it's so timely. We cause ourselves so much pre-traumatic stress when we're just continually worried about what could happen. And in most cases, the worst is not even going to happen. But if it does, then make peace with it. So what I did want to share is when I was diagnosed, I realized, the cause, and I realized this pretty quick, the cause of so much suffering, whether with that or any other area of my life or anyone's life, has been and always will be arguing with the reality of the situation. As Byron Katie tells us, when we argue with reality, we lose, but only 100% of the time, right? So when something happens, when a circumstance pops up in our sea line, and we're just arguing with that this shouldn't be happening, or things shouldn't be happening this way, and we're just pounding our fists against the wall, and we're banging our head, and we're screaming from the rooftops that this shouldn't be happening, that's where our suffering lies. It lies in the arguing and the reality of it. So just remember that. How often are we just arguing with the reality of our situation? And I also want to share the ability to embrace suffering is what makes you stronger. the ability to feel that emotion and even go out of your way and just embrace it and say, here's the suffering. Here's the part of my life that I am suffering. Here's the 50%. Here's the suck of it. And I'm going to embrace that. And that is what makes you stronger. And when you prove to yourself that you have the ability to overcome something painful or very challenging, and when you overcome that, the pride you feel in yourself is just unmeasurable. You know that you have your own back, and there's nothing like it for nurturing self-love as well. So I have overcome and managed my mind around a lot of things. And I will share with you that self-love is still one of those areas that I struggle with. And I think so many of us do. And all the challenges that I've overcome personally, I'm still working on that self-love. But I don't know. I just wanted to pop on here and chat with you guys real quick. And I don't know who's... Oh, thank you so much, Dawn. I didn't even see that. Yep. Thanks, Dawn. It is. And for so many years, many of us aren't taught this, but for many years I would go to trainings and they'd say your thoughts control your feelings, and which control your actions and results. And I just never really embraced that until recently, when I learned the model. The model which is what I teach in my coaching business. So yes, 4 years since I sat down and got my cancer diagnosis, and my life has changed immeasurably. And I have made it my mission to help other women go through challenges and learn to identify thoughts that are holding them back and live a joy-filled, purpose-filled life. So I am offering Transformation in 20 calls, and it's a 20-minute coaching call. It's not a sales call. It's not a pre-consultation or anything like that. It's a coaching call. So if you are struggling with something, contact me and let's set up a 20-minute coaching call. And by the end of it, you will have a new perspective, a different perspective, and you will walk away with a tool that can really help you in your own life with doing some self-coaching. And so thanks so much for watching and joining in. And hi, Tracy. And I will see you guys later. Bye-bye.